There's a good chance you have one of these sitting in your kitchen right now. The humble sweet potato. We've all been told it's good for us. A superfood. So we bake it, mash it, maybe add a little butter and cinnamon, and we feel like we've done something good for our bodies. But what if I told you that for most of us, that feeling is a quiet illusion? What if the very way we've been taught to prepare this vibrant root vegetable is actually locking away its most profound, age-defying benefits? You do everything right. You eat the healthy foods, yet you still feel it, that subtle creep of age. The print on the newspaper getting just a little blurrier. That feeling of your blood pressure being a constant worry in the back of your mind. Or that nagging, unpredictable digestion that dictates your daily routine. The frustrating truth is, you could be eating a sweet potato every single day and still be missing out on its true power. In this video, we're going to change that. We will reveal the simple, scientifically backed method to prepare sweet potatoes that unlocks their full potential, and we'll connect it to 10 specific health problems that begin to fade when you get it right. It's not about eating more, it's about eating smarter. Before we dive into the first of these health solutions, I want to create a space for all of us. If you're new here, consider subscribing. And in the comments below, tell me, what is the one health concern you think about most? Your answers truly guide our conversations here. All right, let's talk about the first health problem that this powerful vegetable, when prepared correctly, can help address: fading eyesight. Specifically, that frustrating difficulty seeing clearly in low light. Does this sound familiar? You're driving home as the sun sets, and suddenly the street signs seem to blur. The headlights of oncoming cars create a blinding glare that feels almost painful. Or you're in a favorite restaurant, trying to read the menu, and you find yourself angling it towards the candlelight, feeling that flash of irritation that you can't make out the words like you used to. It's more than an inconvenience. It feels like a quiet loss of freedom, a small chip away at your confidence. Here's what's happening on a biological level. The brilliant orange color of a sweet potato comes from a compound called beta-carotene. When you eat it, your body converts this beta-carotene into vitamin A. Now, vitamin A is not just a vitamin. It's a critical component of a molecule in your retinas called rhodopsin. Think of rhodopsin as the light-absorbing agent in the rods of your eyes, the very cells responsible for your night vision. When vitamin A levels are low, your body can't produce enough rhodopsin. The result? The world gets dimmer, and your eyes struggle to adapt from bright to low light. Over the long term, this same deficiency is a major risk factor for more serious conditions, like age-related macular degeneration. But here is the crucial piece of the puzzle most people miss. Vitamin A is a fat-soluble vitamin. This means your body cannot absorb it properly without the presence of dietary fat. If you simply bake a sweet potato and eat it plain, a huge portion of that precious, vision-protecting beta-carotene passes right through your system, completely unused. It's like putting high-octane fuel in a car with a clogged fuel line. The potential is there, but it never reaches the engine. So, the first rule of preparing sweet potatoes this way is simple but non-negotiable. Always pair your sweet potato with a healthy fat. This doesn't mean slathering it in butter and brown sugar. Instead, think of a generous drizzle of golden olive oil, a dollop of full-fat Greek yogurt, or serving it alongside some creamy avocado. This simple addition acts as a key, unlocking that beta-carotene and allowing your body to transport it to your eyes where it's needed most. It's a small change that makes an enormous difference, turning a simple vegetable into a true guardian of your sight. Protecting these delicate structures in our eyes is so important. And that same principle of protection applies to another intricate network within our bodies: our vast system of blood vessels. That brings us to the second health problem, one that millions of us live with every single day: high blood pressure. We often call it the silent killer, and for good reason. Unlike a painful joint, high blood pressure doesn't always announce itself. The only sign might be that tightening sensation of the cuff at the doctor's office, followed by a moment of held breath as you watch the numbers. You see the look on your doctor's face, you hear the words, "a little high today," and your mind immediately jumps to the future. It's the worry about medication side effects, the fear of a stroke or a heart attack, the feeling that your own body is working against you. It's a heavy burden to carry. The conversation around blood pressure is almost always focused on one thing: reducing sodium. And while that's important, it's only half of the story. We're often so focused on what to remove that we forget the immense power of what we should add. This is where the sweet potato, prepared correctly, becomes a cardiovascular champion. The key player here is potassium. Think of sodium and potassium as two children on a seesaw. For your body to be in balance, they need to work together. Most modern diets are incredibly high in sodium, which makes your body hold on to excess water. This increases the volume of blood in your vessels, pushing against the walls and driving your blood pressure up. Potassium is the counterbalance. It signals to your kidneys to flush out excess sodium and water, literally lightening the load on your entire circulatory system. It also has a more direct effect. It helps to relax the walls of your blood vessels, giving the blood more room to flow. Now, here's the second critical rule of preparing sweet potatoes this way: you must eat the skin. A single, medium-sized sweet potato, with its skin on, can provide more potassium than a banana. But a significant portion of that mineral, along with other vital nutrients, is concentrated in the skin and the flesh just beneath it. When we peel it, we are literally throwing away one of its most powerful medicinal components. So, give it a good scrub, but keep that skin on. Bake it, roast it, or cube it until it's tender and the skin is slightly crisp. When you pair this skin-on, potassium-rich vegetable with a healthy fat, as we discussed, you're not just eating a meal. You're actively creating the ideal conditions inside your body to promote healthy, flexible blood vessels and balanced blood pressure. And that leads us to our third health problem, a concern that requires constant vigilance for so many of us: unstable blood sugar and the risk of type 2 diabetes. If you're managing this, you know it's a full-time job. It's the daily finger pricks, the meticulous counting of carbohydrates, the constant mental calculus before every single meal. It's the gnawing anxiety about long-term complications and that frustrating energy roller coaster, the spike that leaves you feeling wired, followed by the inevitable crash that drains you of all motivation and fogs your thinking. It can feel like you're walking a tightrope every single day. Now, hearing the word sweet in sweet potato might understandably make you cautious. We're taught to fear sugar, and anything that tastes sweet can feel like a potential threat. But this is where understanding the biology of digestion empowers us to make smarter choices. The key isn't just the amount of sugar in a food, but how quickly that sugar hits your bloodstream. This is where the magic of fiber comes into play. When you eat a sweet potato with the skin on, as we've established, you're consuming a wealth of soluble and insoluble fiber. Imagine this fiber creating a kind of gel-like mesh in your stomach. As the natural sugars from the sweet potato are released, they get caught in this mesh. Instead of flooding into your bloodstream all at once and demanding a huge surge of insulin, they are released slowly, gently, over a much longer period. This provides you with steady, sustained energy, not a chaotic spike and crash. It keeps you feeling full and satisfied, preventing those cravings for the very snacks that cause the blood sugar problems in the first place. This brings us to the third, and perhaps most important, rule for unlocking the sweet potato's power. You must avoid loading it with extra sugar. Those traditional holiday preparations, candied yams with marshmallows, sweet potato casseroles drowning in brown sugar and maple syrup, they completely sabotage this delicate biological process. Adding refined sugar is like pouring gasoline on a gentle fire. It turns a slow-burning, beneficial food into a rapid-release sugar bomb that works against your goals. By eating the skin-on sweet potato, paired with a healthy fat, and seasoned with spices like cinnamon or chili powder instead of sugar, you are creating a perfectly balanced, low-glycemic food. You get to enjoy its satisfying sweetness without the metabolic penalty. That brings us to our fourth health problem, and it's one we often don't discuss openly, even with our doctors, but it quietly dictates the rhythm of our lives: irregular, unpredictable digestion. I'm talking about the constipation that can leave you feeling bloated and uncomfortable for days, or the general sluggishness that makes you feel off. It's the worry that comes with planning a trip or even just a day out with the grandkids. Will I be comfortable? Will I have to find a bathroom urgently? This lack of predictability can be incredibly taxing, making you feel like your body is no longer a reliable partner, but an unpredictable force you have to constantly manage. It's a quiet thief of spontaneity and peace of mind. The solution, once again, lies in that fibrous skin we've been talking about, but it's a two-part solution. Sweet potato skins contain two distinct types of fiber, and they work in beautiful harmony. The first is insoluble fiber. Think of this as the bulking agent or the gentle broom for your digestive system. It doesn't dissolve in water. Instead, it travels through your intestines largely intact, adding mass to your stool. This makes it softer and much easier to pass, directly combating constipation and promoting that feeling of regular, complete elimination. It gets things moving reliably and gently. But the second type of fiber, soluble fiber, is where the deeper magic happens. This fiber does dissolve in water, forming that gel-like substance we discussed for blood sugar. But in your large intestine, this gel becomes the perfect food, a prebiotic for the trillions of beneficial bacteria that live in your gut, your microbiome. You can think of your gut as a delicate inner garden. For it to flourish, you need to feed the good plants, probiotics, with the right fertilizer, prebiotics. A healthy, well-fed gut microbiome doesn't just improve digestion. It strengthens your intestinal wall, reduces inflammation throughout your body, and even helps produce certain vitamins. So when you peel a sweet potato, you're not just throwing away a bit of skin. You're discarding the very tools your body needs for both mechanical regularity and biological balance. Eating the whole, skin-on sweet potato is a direct investment in a calm, predictable, and resilient digestive system. And of course, remember that for fiber to do its job, it needs water, so be sure you're staying well hydrated throughout the day. Now, this bustling community of bacteria in our gut doesn't just influence our digestion. Scientists are now calling it our second brain because of its astonishing impact on our mood, our stress levels, and even our cognitive sharpness. This direct link between gut health and brain health is our next stop. And this brings us to the fifth health problem, one that is deeply connected to that gut-brain highway: the creeping brain fog and the low-grade anxiety or moodiness that can cast a shadow over our days. It's a deeply unsettling feeling. It's that moment you walk into a room and completely forget why you're there. It's the name of a lifelong friend or a favorite movie that's right on the tip of your tongue, but stubbornly refuses to surface. It's not just forgetfulness. It's a feeling that your mind, once so sharp, is becoming cluttered or slow. This can be terrifying because our mind is our essence, and the fear that it's starting to fail us is one of the most profound anxieties of aging. For decades, we've treated the brain as if it were isolated from the rest of the body. We now know that's completely wrong. There is a direct, high-speed communication channel running between your gut and your brain, often called the gut-brain axis. And the traffic on this highway is largely controlled by that microbiome, that inner garden we just discussed. Here's how. Your beneficial gut bacteria are little chemical factories. They help produce over 90% of your body's serotonin, the neurotransmitter responsible for feelings of well-being and happiness. They also produce other crucial brain chemicals like GABA, which helps promote calmness and reduce anxiety. When your gut microbiome is out of balance, starved of the prebiotic fiber it needs, the population of these helpful bacteria dwindles. Unhelpful, inflammatory bacteria can then take over. They produce compounds that increase inflammation, and these inflammatory signals can travel directly up that gut-brain highway, contributing to inflammation in the brain itself. This is what we now believe is a major driver of that brain fog, mental fatigue, and even feelings of depression and anxiety. This is why consistently consuming a skin-on sweet potato is so powerful. That soluble fiber is the preferred food for your mood-lifting bacteria. By eating it, you are actively sending a shipment of the best possible fertilizer to your inner garden. You're encouraging the growth of the very bacteria that produce more serotonin and more GABA, and that help to lower inflammation. You are, quite literally, eating to create the biological conditions for a clearer, calmer, and more resilient mind. That brings us to our sixth and final deep dive into the health problems we can address: the persistent, grinding issue of chronic inflammation, especially as it manifests in stiff, aching joints. This is the pain that greets you first thing in the morning, making those initial steps out of bed a careful negotiation. It's the stiffness in your hands that makes it difficult to open a jar or enjoy a hobby like knitting or gardening. It's the ache in your knees after a walk that makes you think twice about going out the next day. This isn't just pain. It's a thief of mobility and joy. It shrinks your world, little by little, convincing you that your best, most active days are behind you. It's exhausting, both physically and emotionally. The root cause here is often chronic, low-grade inflammation. Think of inflammation as your body's emergency response team. When you get a cut, inflammation rushes to the scene to fight infection and heal the wound. That's a good thing. But when this response system never fully shuts off, it's like an alarm bell ringing constantly in the background. This chronic inflammation sends out destructive molecules that, over time, can damage healthy tissues, particularly the delicate cartilage that cushions our joints. This leads to the pain, swelling, and stiffness of conditions like osteoarthritis. So, how does our humble sweet potato, prepared this way, step in to help? It fights this fire from two different angles. Firstly, the same beta-carotene that protects our eyes is also a potent antioxidant. Antioxidants are like your body's internal peacekeepers. They travel through your system and neutralize the destructive, inflammation-causing molecules called free radicals. They calm the system down and protect your healthy cells from damage. But there's another, often overlooked, superpower hidden within these vegetables, especially in the purple varieties if you can find them. They are packed with compounds called anthocyanins, the same compounds that give blueberries and cherries their deep, rich colors. Anthocyanins are renowned for their powerful anti-inflammatory effects. Studies have shown they can actively suppress the inflammatory pathways in the body, essentially telling that overactive alarm system to stand down. So, when you eat a whole, skin-on sweet potato, paired with a healthy fat to absorb that fat-soluble beta-carotene, you are delivering a 1-2 punch against inflammation. You are sending in antioxidants to clean up the existing damage and providing powerful anti-inflammatory compounds to prevent the fire from spreading further. It's a proactive strategy to soothe aching joints from the inside out, helping to reclaim the fluid, pain-free movement that is so essential to a vibrant and independent life. So you see, it's not just about one single benefit. It's about a beautiful, interconnected cascade of wellness that starts with a few simple, intentional choices. It begins with respecting the whole food, keeping the skin, which holds the key to calming your blood pressure, steadying your blood sugar, and nourishing the vast inner world of your gut. It continues with the simple wisdom of adding a healthy fat, a small action that unlocks the full power of vitamin A to protect your precious eyesight and quell the fires of chronic inflammation in your joints and your mind. This isn't a magic pill. It's something far more powerful. It is the knowledge that you can take an ordinary food from your kitchen and, by preparing it with understanding, turn it into an extraordinary ally in your health journey. This is about reclaiming control, not through complex formulas, but through simple, profound wisdom. You have the power to actively build a body that feels more resilient, more comfortable, and more vibrant, one delicious meal at a time. If this conversation has empowered you today, please click that like button. It tells YouTube that this information is valuable and helps it reach others who need to hear it. And subscribe to join our community so we can continue on this journey of learning and thriving together. Thank you for your time and your trust. Be well, and I'll see you in the next video.